Welcome back to People to People. Is owning your own business on your resolution list this year? How about upgrading your business relationships? Well, Cameka Smith is a master at both. She's founder and CEO of the Boss Network, and she's been inspiring women to reach their personal and professional goals around the world. She joins us right now to tell us how to make 2016 your year, especially if you want to start your own business.
Absolutely. Thank you, Brittany.
Thank you. Thank you so much
Nice to
and
meet
welcome.
you.
We appreciate having you. Tell me a little bit about the Boss Network. What is it?
So the Boss Network is a networking organization for women of color, entrepreneurs, and career women. We launched in 2009 after my career in Chicago Public Schools. I was an educator for about 10 years in administration, and I experienced a layoff with probably 25 other teachers and principals, 2,500 other teachers and principals. And so after that, I was really kind of thinking about what is my next step. And I had really always been interested in entrepreneurship. And I just started to talk to different people that were in business. And as I was talking to people and networking, I realized that there was a need for women of color to have a resource to learn about how to grow their business, because a lot of these were first-time business owners, and so they didn't have resources. They didn't really feel connected to a community where they could get support. And so we decided to just launch a series of events. And I titled them Boss because I felt like boss was a very strong, powerful word. And when you think of a boss, you don't particularly think of a woman of color. And so Boss stands for Bringing Out Successful Sisters, because that's exactly what we wanted to do.
Wow.
And with our first event we launched, we probably had about 200 women, so it worked. And so we did that through, I think, the summer of 2009, and people just started emailing me saying, how do we join Boss? At the time, there was nothing to join, so I said, okay, let me take a look at this. And so I really just sat back and strategized, okay, how can I get these women to really network beyond the events? And so that was our model, and then we launched the social media website, which is www.thebossnetwork.org.
Okay, so tell me, it seems like you were forced into this. You didn't have a choice. Did you have this in the back of your mind? Because, you talk about launching a business. It's often something you've thought about, I've thought about it several times, but I haven't had the gall to do it. So was this something that you thought about doing, and then when you found yourself without a job, you were forced into that life?
Yeah, well, I think entrepreneurship had always been a part of my fiber. So I had an entrepreneurial spirit from when I was younger. I always had little, side businesses. And then when I was in Chicago Public Schools, I had launched an event company. And I was doing it more as a hobby at that time because I had a full-time job. And then when I got laid off, I said, you know what, maybe this is an opportunity for me to kind of take my destiny into my own hands. And that was a decision that I made to start my business. Because I knew I had a little bit of cushion, saved up some money while I was working.
Which is smart.
Which is smart, right? I always tell people, have a plan of action and don't just, quit your job and start a business. You want to make sure you have, a plan of action. So, I started the business, and literally when I started the business, it wasn't what it is today. I didn't set out to create a Forbes top 10 website for women of color. And so I really set out to just kind of give a space for women who needed the same thing that I needed, which was resources. So I feel like when you have an idea and you're passionate about it, it kind of finds you.
And so for those of you who want to start a business, you have some tips, three top tips that you're saying. Know who you're connecting with.
Yeah, so these tips are really, for me, I feel like relationships are key to your business. So these are more so relational tips, because I feel like a lot of people are, they have creativity, they have great ideas, they're launching businesses, but they find it very hard to get partners, to get sponsors, to get people to buy their products. So it really is relationship. I tell people all the time, people do business and buy from people that they like, right? So you want to be genuine because you want people to know the real you. In this market, there's a lot of entrepreneurs that are coming up. It's a very trendy market, and so you have to figure out what sets you apart, and it's really you.
And I find that social media has also played a huge role for people that are trying to start their own business. At this point, a lot of people taking to Instagram. So, but you say also try to find something in common between you and your contacts. Yeah,
absolutely. So now with social media, we have such access to a large network. It's not like before where we didn't have the internet, so we're having to go out to networking events to meet people, or we're networking people at our jobs. Now with social media, you have access to so many people, but you want to find people who are like-minded and who have some commonality with the business that you're doing. So the way to do that is to really kind of see what they're doing and kind of gain some true interest in what they're doing and kind of figure out where the synergy lies.
And the third tip that you say is be genuine in your approach. Keep it real.
Yeah, be authentic. I feel like transparency is the best way to build good relationships. I just came from a conference in Miami this weekend, and I shared some networking tips with the women, and one of the ladies after the event, she said, I really wanted to ask you a question during your workshop, but I was a little nervous. I'm kind of shy. And she said, what do I do in these situations where I'm meeting with people who I feel like they're a little bit more successful than me, so I feel a little intimidated? And I say, well, just be real. I say, if you're shy, say, hey, I'm shy, you know, or I'm a little bit nervous, but I wanted to meet you.
Right.
People will never send you away.
Because there are ways around that too.
It humanizes you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Cameka, hold that thought. We're going to take a quick break. We're coming right back with more tips from you and some others when we return.